What is European American culture?
Are you about to say that they don't have a culture?
I'm asking.
No, I'm just
I
Well, I
truly
mean,
don't know.
before
What
you
is
I would
answer.
say they're
culture,
more
but
keen
Hold,
embracing
hold,
their individual culture. So if you're German, if you're Irish, if you're Italian and whatnot, you embrace that culture, not necessarily just being European.
their culture is anything consisting of morals, values, traditions, customs,
who?
like all those things, all those
Who? Who you talking about? White people?
those
You talking about white people? You talking about white people? Like European Americans? Like people that came from Europe? Morals and values? You talking about them?
Yeah, they do. It's just perversion. Real dope question. Is that a consistent
now
thing where
watch
the women are disrespectful on panels?
is it a consistent thing that women are disrespectful on panels?
Black women on the type of panels?
Um, I think so.
That's the culture, right? You think it has to be positive to be defined as culture. Culture
Yeah,
is a consistent thing that we can easily identify quite often, right? That
yeah,
we tend to agree upon. And the things that you eliminated were, you said we have culture outside the culture that you eliminated. The
yeah.
money aspect, the business aspect isn't a part of either one of the three definitions. I agree with you that I want that be more consistent aspect of,
Mhm.
how we comport ourselves. However, just in terms of the definition that you brought to us, that wasn't one of the facets.
Yeah,
But I,
I
I
agree.
agree with you, like how
Yeah,
how you as manifesting, but just in terms of the definition, you actually named a lot of stuff that would qualify as culture.
yeah. No, I actually agree with what you just said. So basically, you're saying is like even if our culture is chaotic,
Negative. Yeah.
it's still culture. Even
Mm-hmm.
if our culture is to do everything the improper way, that's still culture.
Mm-hmm.
Which and I'm not saying that
correct.
that's our culture, but I'm trying to articulate that
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. That
Both
no
ends
matter
of the
what it
totem
is,
pole.
everything is
Hmm.
culture.
Indeed. Yep. Both ends,
Like,
right?
And that's let me jump in real quick. That's the issue I had with Zanu's perspective and his ideology towards what he thinks Black American culture is. Because it's something that he doesn't like or he doesn't see value in means that there's no culture. That's false, right? That's an incorrect assessment because culture is very, very it's defined very clearly. The question is it shared? Is it consistent across the table? Is it a shared customs, morals, value system, religious system? And I think what he was trying to get at when he's talking about worldview, we need to look at the definition of real dope. If you already got it up, can you look up the definition of worldview? And his assertion is he believes if a culture does not have a worldview, then they cannot exist as a culture. So he's arguing from a different layer of the conversation. I don't agree with what he said. I understand what he was trying to say. I think there's a deeper level to the conversation. The same thing that's causing everyone this confusion as it relates to Black American culture. We know that Black Americans contribute a whole lot to this world, not just to this country, a whole lot to this world. We know that the culture is emulated. We know that Black Americans are trendsetters. We know all the inventions. Some we do know, some we will never know. Just all of the great things that have been attributed to Black America. We're aware of that, right? The issue now is there's a component that makes a culture fine-tuned and also cohesive that might be missing. There's a puzzle. There's a puzzle piece that's missing, and I think that's what he's trying to touch on. I think though, but the conversation is so triggering that we can't even dive into the nuance of it to be able to have a healthy conversation about what is that puzzle piece that's missing. There's something that's missing to really unify Black Americans in this country so that they could be a dominant force like they're supposed to be, right? But if we get triggered every time someone brings up something we don't like or we're not comfortable with, we'll never get to the point to actually solve a problem or solve an issue. And I just think that he's highlighting something that's a very sensitive and touchy subject. But I believe that even on this panel, we could actually get to the root of that, of what that actually is.
I need to ask a question. and anyone on the panel can answer this for me. What is white culture? What is European American culture?
Are you about to say that they don't have a culture?
I'm asking.
No, I'm just.
I truly don't know.
Before
What
we
is-
answer,
I would
Their
say they're
culture-
more keen embracing their individual culture. So if you're German, if you're Irish, if you're Italian and whatnot, you embrace that culture, not necessarily just being European.
hold on, real quick, Bo, before we answer, is it are you of the opinion that white people don't have a culture?
I'm asking. I'm asking.
I said before we answer, is that your position anyway? You know,
just
just
No, they have a culture.
okay.
And you're asking what their
Absolutely.
culture is? Yeah, their culture is anything. Their culture is anything consisting of morals, values, traditions, customs.
Who?
Like all those things, all those.
Who you talking about? White people?
Who's?
You talking about white people? You talking about white people? Like European Americans? Like people that came from Europe? Morals and values? You talking about them?
Yeah, they do. It's just perversion.
I was going to say, because what is the moral?
Remember, culture, it doesn't have to be positive, right? We already kind of walked through that.
It doesn't have to be. So
right
for example,
about
right? Say. So the problem is because you don't agree or like the way they do things doesn't mean they don't have a culture, right? So one could argue that. Not you. I'm just saying, not you. I'm just saying, like from this perspective, we don't like how they colonized, right? They should have just left everything alone. Would have been just fine, right? But that was an aspect of their culture, getting on boats and going around fucking with people. That was a part of their culture.
Okay,
is a part of their culture.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is you still see that conquering mentality through the military, right? They still do that same thing today. It just looks different. So that is a part of their culture. It's negative. We don't like it, but it doesn't mean it's not part of their culture, right? Colonizing, right? Taking people, right? So hold on now. So the same thing could be said about Jamaican culture, the things that we do, right? Whether it's the sexual immorality, whether it's the music, whether it's the violence, right? That's still part of Jamaican culture. We can come over here, we can go to Haiti, we can go to America, right? We could say the same thing in different countries. Just because there's negative aspects of it that we don't like or we're not proud of, doesn't mean it's not part of the culture. And so that's my issue with Zanu's perspective, is that he has an opinion of what he thinks culture is. In his opinion, he believes that there's things lacking from not just black Americans, but in other countries, because he was saying a whole bunch of countries said they don't have culture. So it's just his definition. That's his opinion. So that's kind of, I feel like, where a lot of people are kind of like missing the mark with on this topic.
But I wasn't even. So I didn't ask that question for that. I know, but I wanted people to think. Like, the reason why I asked that question is because I want y'all to really think when y'all are discussing Black American culture, African American culture, whichever term y'all want to use. I want you to think when you are listening to people say we don't have a culture, think about what white culture is. Think about that. Like, when you want to disrespect your own race, and I'm not talking about you, Nathan, I'm just talking about in general. When you want to disrespect your own race, when you want to disrespect and say and put down your own people for twerking and Target, I want y'all to understand ask yourself what white culture is. Ask yourself who they are. They do have a culture. They absolutely have a culture. Ask yourself what that is. And I can guarantee you what their culture is in the face of what your culture is. I'm going to let you make the determination which one is better. But we don't our culture is always up for discussion. That I think that's where I'm having an issue. Because why is our culture in the absence of always up for discussion. Have a discussion about those centuries long degenerates. We don't ever have a discussion about that. Why don't we talk about what their culture truly is? Why their
Does
culture?
not every culture have degeneracy?
Do we not talk about white supremacy? Do we not?
Hold
Do
on,
we
let me
not
see.
talk
Hold on,
about
hold on.
white behavior? Do we
No,
not talk
as
about
a culture?
white?
No, as a culture, we do
Yes.
not. You do not ever.
What is white supremacy
It
supposed
is
to be?
their
Then?
culture.
Not
What I'm
system.
saying is, it
Well,
is
do we
never
not? Do we not?
in the context.
Do we?
It,
Now you're being disingenuous.
I am.
You mean to tell me that? Do you mean to tell me that we don't discuss white life and white lifestyle and white supremacy and white oppression
No,
and what
as
white
it
do and white
pertains to how it
criminality?
affects
Again,
us. Yes, as it pertains to how
don't?
it affects us. We do not ever talk about their culture and what it looks like for them. How they live on a day-to-day basis, what they believe, how they operate, what values they hold. Nothing like the only time we talk about that is when it affects us.
Nah, I don't know
Not the
about
same
that.
thing.
I don't know about that.
Well,
We
but
be
that's
saying
not
how
true.
they don't use wash rags. We be saying how they don't know how to cook. They don't got no seasoning in their food.
Yeah,
Black folks talk about every damn body under the sun. Stop playing, you guys.
It is not put into the. Hold on. Nobody ever says.
This is the no. This is the hypocrisy.
So you don't. Okay,
this
so
is the
you don't listen to me. Because see, I'll stop talking. I swear to God, I will. Because if you're going to misrepresent what I'm saying, you're not going to really listen to what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying, yes, we talk about individual things. We make fun of individual things. We don't ever sit down. These people have sat down and had a conversation trying to figure out what Black culture is. We have never sat down in front of what is white culture. We have never picked apart what white people do, like as a culture. Because
is it a crime to ask?
Excuse me?
Is it a crime to ask? If you sat down with a white person and said, "What is white culture?" Is that problematic to ask them that, or any other culture?
No,
I'm not
part white culture for sure.
I'm not speaking of it being problematic. My question, the reason why I'm asking this is, why is our culture always up, or the lack thereof always up for debate, but white people's culture or the lack thereof is not ever up for debate, whether it exists or not?
You want to know my theory?
Because they're quicker to define what it is and communicate that.
They don't communicate a goddamn thing.
They don't?
Whiteness and the harm that it has done is the culture. They absolutely have a culture, and it is whiteness. It is white supremacy. It is them staying at the top of the food chain. That is their culture, period. By hook or by crook.
Defining it.
Yeah, for me, absolutely.
That's part
they
of it.
They must be defining it elsewhere as well, because a good amount of society has a concept that's what it is about them, right? Or would you say that the rest of the world is in denial and we're the only group of people who can acknowledge the problems within white culture?
I don't think that anyone else thinks that there is a problem in white culture until it pertains to them.
That's false. That's why we have a whole
as an individual. So you're going to tell me
political group that talks about the issues with white culture and
when it affects them, not when it affects anyone else. People talk about it when it affects them. Everything else is perfectly fine.
Let me ask you this: have you voted Democrat the last 3 elections? Hold on, he's a fool. I do kind of look like him a little bit though. Have you?
Yeah,
that's just.
I prefer not to split the vote. Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at them.
OG been quiet. Let's get OG in, man.
Yeah, I must warn the panel and the chat room that this is really not the real Nathan. This is a AI generated Nathan,
That nigga
and
look AI generated.
Which one? OG, the one with the red hat or the one next to you?
no, the one that's next to me.
Oh,
So I'm very, I'm very acquainted with Nathan, and this is not
Go
really
way
him.
back.
Y'all missed past something. Earlier, you said you wanted real dope, to look up something. And real dope, do that dope has anything to do with you personally? That's just something you just put there. But anyway, you can look up the you you can look up the worldview. I think the biggest input of Black culture is that's one of the biggest United States imports. So if you want to talk about worldview, I think when it'll fall right into that category. I think you kind of like back yourself in the wall with that one, Nathan, because I be looking at videos, people be wearing their pants down, way somewhere in some wooded area, don't even have street lights. So when you start talking about worldview, and that's what I was trying to bring on earlier, that they don't have control of our image as much as they used to, and we got to take that serious. The internet has
Okay.
made the world smaller. You know that as well as I know that. So when we start talking about the things that have worldview, then you would have to put our culture is, I mean, if y'all really had to listen to white people saying back in the 60s, man, I'm telling you, if y'all really had to listen to some of that, I mean, just the impression of our vocal skill has changed country music, much less all the other stuff that we have changed. And if y'all thinking that these other nations is just looking at us as entertainers, their inspiration and motivation come from our history that a lot of us don't read about inventions. But there's people in Africa who are inspired and motivated by our able to overcome in this country and being able to contribute to technology and everything. So I think we just look at a certain part of our influence around the world, but there are different levels of our influence around the world, and that it strictly is due to our culture.
I don't disagree with that. What I said earlier was we don't have the control, right? That we should have over our image. You're saying we have more control than we used to. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
I would argue and say I think it's less. I still think it's less than I think we're now becoming more educated about how much of control we don't actually have. So, for example, JSP, can you name me three TV shows where the lead actor in a predominantly white show were drug dealers? Can you name me three white shows where they're drug dealers?
Well, I think you fall right back into my trap again. Okay, I
Howard
can't. I can't. I can't. Reason why I can't. Remember, I'm gonna answer a question. Reason I can't really. I worked in the industry for 35 years, my brother. I don't
You
look
worked
at
in every industry for 35 years.
no,
huh?
no. I got receipts. I got
when you was
receipts.
old as
Yeah,
JSP, when you was old as
real dope daddy.
JSP, you worked
Hey,
everywhere.
I thought you was a boxer.
real dope daddy. Real dope daddy. We would not put up with hate on this channel tonight, okay?
My bad, man.
I mean, I understand your shortcomings, but you probably made a lot of money in different direction, and I won't hate on you for that.
Sorry,
But my receipts is all over the internet, so don't get jealous. Don't get jealous. But Nathan, let's get back to the point, brother.
Go ahead.
Reason why I say that is
just give me two. Give me two.
No.
We gotta start wrapping up. We gotta start wrapping up.
If I don't watch TV, then I can't give you that.
All right, fair enough.
That's honestly. But what I'm saying is, there are TV shows.
We're the Millers.
Go ahead. But there are TV shows that's doing just as
Nurse
well
Jack.
with
just
prominent black people on the internet.
I can give it to him. Nurse Jackie, Weeds, and Breaking Bad.
There we go. I was trying to figure
Jackie
out Breaking
she
Bad.
wasn't a drug dealer. She was an addict.
Same thing.
What about weed?
Not if you're a good one. No, it's not the
What
same
about
thing.
Breaking
Same
Bad?
thing.
Breaking Bad is a good one. No, Breaking Bad is a good one. Real dope. And I'm gonna make my point. Real dope. Do you got that definition? No, we got to wrap up. Worldview.
Yeah, I got it for you.
Weird Millers. That was a group of drug. That was a family of drug dealers.
A particular philosophy of life or conception of the world.
That's it.
That's the one that came up, but I can read you Merriam-Webster too.
Weren't they also drug dealers
Let me read this one. This one says worldview is your fundamental way of seeing and interpreting the world, a personal lens or framework of beliefs, values, and assumption about reality, life's purpose, and how things work, sharpening your thoughts, feelings, and actions, often including views on God, humanity, knowledge, and morality. Answering the big questions about existence, experience, culture, and education. So that the reason I want to really touch on that, I know we gotta close on that. That might be another conversation later. But that's what he's saying is absent. I would have loved to kind of hear people's perspective as to, do we think that's a legitimate claim that Black American culture and other cultures that he says is not a culture lacks a worldview? But I know we got a little bit off topic.
I disagree that it don't
what it
become a worldview, because if you really think about it, we are totally in the mouth of the beast, and the things that we had to overcome. You don't think that motivate and inspire people all in the diaspora that look like us?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So it'll fall right into that definition.
I like that.